In today's video, I think we're going to talk about getting some abs and why maybe you should stop trying to get abs forever, because a lot of people are just on this mission of thinking that they're going to get there by just always being on a cut, right? We hear people all the time saying like, I'm starting this diet on Monday, and you're like, man, you said that last Monday and you said it the Monday before. Like, you ever going to give your body a chance to grow? You ever going to give your body a chance to get stronger? And Nsima and I are people that have been on a bulk for a very, very long time. Pretty much my entire powerlifting career was a bulk.
That was a dreamer's bulk, man. You got yourself up to 330?
330 pounds, heavy ass pounds.
330. Yeah, that's a problem.
But what do you think people are doing? They're making a little bit of mistake of just maybe overreaching all the time trying to get abs, right?
Yeah, you know, I think when we all start lifting, we just want to look great. We want to attract men or women, whichever you prefer. And by doing that, like, you want to be jacked and tan. But a lot of us don't deserve abs because we haven't put in the time to actually get a physique we're happy with. So I think the question that you need to ask yourself first off is, what is your starting point? If you're like, in your head, you're like, I want abs and I want to cut. What's your starting point? Are you a person who's literally just started lifting for a few months? Well, if you started lifting for a few months, you have to give yourself a time to gain some muscle, gain some weight, maybe even put on a little bit of body fat. Because if you try to cut immediately, you're just going to be skinny with some abs.
There's really nothing to cut at that point, right?
No, except just a little bit of body fat and you're going to be looking lanky.
You know, I think a lot of the CrossFit women are great examples of what we're talking about here today. Is like, it might be a good idea, especially if you've already started to lose some weight, or you have this goal of coming down from 250 pounds or 300 pounds. It might be good periodically to stop your weight loss on purpose and to maybe just shift your focus. It's not like you're not like, oh, I'm going to put all the weight back on. I'm going to go off my diet. Don't go off the diet, the very diet that got you the great results, but maybe just increase the amount of food that you're eating for a minute, and then go after performance. You know, lift a little bit more in the gym, get a little stronger. Maybe you increase the frequency. Maybe you just work out an extra time per week or something like that.
Exactly. And a tool that you can actually use also is your scale. I like to tell people that maybe look to gain 1 to 2% of your body weight a month. So if you're a 200-pound male, I think 2% of your body fat or 2% of your body fat would be 4 pounds a month. Up to 4 pounds a month. You don't want to be gaining much more than that, because if you're gaining too much, or if you're eating way too much food, you could be putting on way too much weight. And then another thing I needed to mention.
I think you might have said body fat, but you meant body weight.
I meant body weight, not body fat.
Because people are like, oh,
yeah,
I don't want to get fat.
My bad. Body weight. But what you mentioned there as far as the CrossFit woman, that's a really important thing. The problem is that when you're always focusing on the way your body's looking, and we always are going to be conscious of that, but when you're always focused on, oh, what do my abs look like, my shoulders, and you're always doing that, you're not giving yourself, I guess, the right fuel you need to actually make progress. CrossFitters focus on performance. They focus on like good training sessions. And when you're a person who's focusing on bodybuilding or powerlifting, and you have a strength focus, or let's say a progressive focus in the gym, having that focus there is going to allow you to, number one, increase training volume over time, increase the amount of weight you're gaining weight you're gaining on the bar over time. And by doing that, you will absolutely be able to gain muscle, and you're not going to be so focused on your body in that period of time.
Every time you have more muscle on your body, it's going to be easier and easier and easier to lose weight. So you might be pinching some chub in the mirror going, man, why can't I get rid of this last little bit? Well, if you feel like you have a last little bit to go, maybe you should just pause for a minute. I'm not saying to gain fat, but I'm saying maybe stay about where you're at and try something just slightly different, totally different. Maybe you're like, you know what, I haven't done any heavy squats in a while, or heavy deadlifts. You know, give your body a chance to recover from some of the stuff that you're doing, and give your body the fuel that it needs to be able to put some muscle on.
Here's an example. I think Stan Efferding, I heard this from him, and I was like,
Stan's great.
Stan is amazing. He said this thing, this phrase called owning your weight, okay? And what that means is this, like, let's say that you're a 180-pound guy at 15% body fat. Okay, 15% body fat's actually good. I think the higher threshold of where you want your body fat to be on a bulk is 20%, so 15% is a good place to be. But let's just say that you didn't want to put on much more body fat and you still wanted to make progress in the gym. This is where what we're talking about comes into play. If your goal, if you change your focus and you're like, I want to hold this weight for 3 to 4 months. So I want to stay at 180 pounds, but I want my performance in the gym to increase. This means that if you're a person that's focused on bodybuilding, you're slowly increasing your strength in the different movements, your bicep curls, your shoulder presses, you're slowly increasing your training volume for that few months, but you're keeping your weight where it is, meaning your calories may stay around the same place because you're holding 180 pounds. What you're gonna find is after that 4-month period, while holding on to, and like Stan says, owning that weight, your body composition is going to change in a positive manner, meaning that you will have lost a little bit of body fat. And if your focus was on performance during those 4 months, you will have gained some muscle and done something that we call body recomposition.
You guys
in
probably
those 4
think
months.
You guys probably think right now that he's totally full of shit, but this will happen for you. I've seen it happen time and time again from men and women that trained around me, and without drugs. You know, everyone always wants to bring up, oh, it's probably because he's, you know, doing whatever, right? But I've seen it time and time again. Just somebody just stays at that body weight. They continue to work on their performance, and then one day I'm like, oh my God, you got a bicep vein, and they're like, I do? And they look down, and sure enough, they have a bicep vein. And that's a great indicator that you're getting leaner. It's a great indicator that some of the stuff that you're doing is working. So I came down from 330 pounds, but I came down from 330 pounds in stages. It wasn't 330 to 230. It actually, the whole entire process, I mean, this is now 10 years later. It didn't actually really take me 10 years, and I could have probably gotten down a lot faster, but who knows what would have happened. Maybe I would have had a rebound at some point. I never had a rebound. I never went back up in weight. I gradually went down. I went from 330, and one of the goals right away was just to get under 300. Once I got under 300, I was like, I would love to get down to about 270. Once I got down to 270, I stayed there for a while. I maintained, I got strong. I was working on some muscle mass and some recomp, as you're talking about. And then I worked my way down to about 240, 250 range. And then I might toggle even back up. There was a little wiggle room. Remember, I was just saying earlier that it never went back up. I shouldn't have said it that way. There was a little wiggle room with going back up just to allow for more food, just to allow for more fun. I mean, there's holidays, there's things, I have children. I like to enjoy food with my wife and enjoy family situations and stuff like that too. So there's times where, you know, I went up 5 pounds, but the focus and the overall, my weight range just kind of kept going down, down, down until I got to where I am now.
But this is exactly why, like, when it comes to your training, guys, it's always good to keep track of what you're doing in the gym. Because if you're now going to have something else that you focus on, you need to be able to actually have metrics and have something that you can look at. Have last week, this is what I did in terms of here, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more this week and a little bit more this week. Because if you don't have that and you're trying to, let's say, gain muscle, or you're trying to lose some body fat, and the only thing you're paying attention to is how you look in the mirror, well, all you're going to be trying to do is eat less food or eat more food so you can try to gain more, because you're not paying attention to what you're actually doing in the gym. If you Google something called progressive overload, that's the whole concept of what we're talking about as far as training is concerned here. Slowly increasing your training volume over a period of time, that's going to be one of the biggest things that allows you to just continue to gain muscle over the lifetime of your training.
And if you, I can't agree any further. If you eat less, you'll be less. So if you continue just to eat less and less food, you're going to continue to lose muscle mass. And we can't spare muscle. We can spare some fat. We can spare some time, right? Like if Nsima and I are trying to coach you through something, and we had you sitting here right with us right now, that what we'd sell you on is like, this is going to take time. That's the main thing that we would sell you on, is that it's going to take time for you to go from 280 and 30% body fat down to wanting to be 225, 230 and 10% body fat. We can all do it. The person that we have in the room is plenty capable of doing it. We have the knowledge to assist you to get to that point, but it's going to take time. And if we wanted to like crash course it and have it be this hardcore thing, we could do that. But as soon as you leave and you go off on your own, you didn't really develop all the habits necessary to stay that way. And so the longer road is always going to be the better road. There are no shortcuts. As Jay Cutler always says, you want to try to be consistent and don't be fancy. That consistency is going to be the king for you. And it does take longer. You're going to have to pause your weight loss for a bit and maybe even shift to gaining a little bit of weight. But it's just gaining a little bit of weight, which might be hard, for somebody that has always been known for being heavy, for someone that has maybe been made fun of. This is still the route to go. Like, we would advise this for anybody. So it's not just for bodybuilding. It's not just for recomp. Somebody that's 350 pounds that doesn't even lift, we would still suggest that you still lose weight in stages, just as we're suggesting here today.
Absolutely. I think a big thing to think about, because at this point you're still probably asking yourself, well, I still want abs. Do I want to get abs? Look at how much you would. Let's say you're 200 pounds, or let's say you're 180 pounds, right? And you have a pretty high body fat. Just do a calculation to get yourself to 10% body fat. You might end up being 10% body fat at 160 pounds. Does that physique make you happy? Are you happy with being 10% body fat at 160, or do you probably need to have more muscle? If you need more muscle, if you'd want to be 180 at 10% body fat, it's not time to get abs. It's time to focus on your performance, focus on your training for a while, make that progress, and then focus on a cut later on.
And Nsima brings up a great point. There's a lot of people that you can follow on Instagram, a lot of people you can follow on YouTube. What do you want to look like? Who would you like to look like? And then you can start to try to figure out exactly how you're going to get there from there. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch you guys later. Peace.